today we got to play New Frontiers, the Race for the Galaxy board game. Now, this is an action selection tableau building space themed game, but before we get into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell because board games are amazing, and that's what we do here at Legends of Nirvana. Now, Randy, can you tell us a little bit more about New Frontiers?
I can. So this is a 2018 release. It has a Board Game Geek rating currently of 7.4 and a Board Game Geek rank of 757. So it's in the top 1,000. 2 to 5 player game, 45 to 75 minutes in length average, which is probably about right. Age 14 and up. A lot of iconography. It's, there's a lot of text to tell you what the icons mean on a lot of the tiles, though. So I'm not sure you need to be 14, but probably close to that. Design is by Thomas Lehman. We got several of his games, and a lot of them are based upon the Roll for the Galaxy, Race for the Galaxy theme. Art is by Martin Hoffman and Klaus Stefan. It's published by Rio Grande Games, and it has an MSRP of $59.95. Now, I've found it several places online. $49.49 at Watchtower is the cheapest. Tabletop Merchant has it $49.99. Card House has it for $51.99, and Miniature Market has it $53.99. It's in stock at all 4 places.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's talk about quality of components. So the coolest thing on this is they've got these resource cubes, and they're so cool.
Yeah, they look like a little freight. But
I wish we could use them more.
Yeah,
because they're really cool.
Yeah, they just sit on your thing and then you sell them. So they basically function just like the little
wooden cubes. You put them on
cubes.
and you put them off, but they're just so cool. I wish you could do more. And then you have some colonists.
They made them look like astronauts.
They did make them look like astronauts, and then you got this little round marker thing, first player marker. No, it's colored. And then you have cardboard tiles, which is basically your buildings. I mean, not quite, but kind of. And there is a little bit of a linen finish, not a huge thing, but they are decent thickness, so that's pretty okay. As well as the selection tiles, again, cardboard, okay thickness.
This is for the added expansion of the in-game bonuses that you can stockpile on resources on those.
Yeah, okay. And then we got a bunch of cardboard chits. Yeah. 4 victory points as well as 4 credits. I don't think we used the credits when we did it.
We used our victory point and money chips.
Honestly, good choice. Yeah. And then you have the end of game scoring, which is also cardboard. The coolest thing of this, obviously, are these. That's the only thing cool about this.
I think the little astronauts are pretty neat.
Okay, well, I'm going to give this a 6.5. Well, I'll give it a 7. I'm being generous, guys.
Yeah, you're probably more generous than I am. I'm going to give it a 6.5.
Oh, good.
Mostly because these tiles have like edges that are still on them when you punch them out. They don't punch neatly. For the larger pieces, you don't expect to see that kind of thing. And there's nothing that's that exciting about the components except for, like you said, the cubes and the astronauts. I do like the big, the location at planet tiles. Those are kind of nice, and they come in a canvas bag. So
I mean,
but yeah, 6.5 is probably about.
Yeah, that's where I was actually originally thinking. I was just being nice today because I was being mean the rest of the day. So, all right. So now let's talk about theme. So the theme obviously is space. You are a civilization, and you are out to discover different planets and hopefully to colonize them, trade with them,
or conquer
them. I mean, you may want to take over. So that's the thing. You're also, and again, like I said, these buildings are kind of technologies that you end up getting or different things like that to help build your civilization. It's a space theme. I don't think it's particularly heavy as far as engaging. It is space. You are definitely visiting different planets.
Well, I do like the art. I think the art is unique on each of the planet tiles and each of the buildings, which I think is nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty okay. I'm probably going to give this a 7.5 on theme.
That's probably about where I am. I mean, the one thing that stands out that kind of irritates me, I'm not sure why they put this, like, it looks like one of those things you just stare at and see pictures on it.
Like
It hurts my eyes just being on the table.
I just think it's ugly.
But yeah, people want to say, is that a monkey on there? Is that
No, I just
chicken. I don't know something.
But
so yeah, but apart from that, I mean, I like the way the look of the tiles is. It looks kind of futuristic. The glow around the edges of some of the boards, but then you got the standard plain black border on this main board, which is really kind of meh.
I mean, there's a little bit of lights to them to make it look kind of spacey, but not great. It's the same as this over here.
Yeah.
So again, it's not breathtaking or anything, but it's okay. It's there. It exists.
Yeah, but I think the art on the individual tiles is worthy enough to make it a 7 and 7.5.
Yeah.
And it
is good art.
Consistent with all of the Race for the Galaxy, Roll for the Galaxy series. It's consistent theming, story, art. I mean, you've got the same races, the same kind of, most of the art is probably replicated. I haven't gone through and done a side-by-side compare, but it all looks very similar.
Yeah. All right, so now let's move on to the rule book. What did you think?
So the rule book is 12 pages in length. It's very similar to a standard Rio Grande Games rule book, but the borders where you normally see an Aaliyah series thing, they instead of putting the shorthand of the rules, they put pictures in it. I would much rather have the rules over there to show me all the minute rules in the game. But it does an effective job of going through each of the actions and explaining the action, what you get as a bonus. If this is basically Space Puerto Rico, if you've played Puerto Rico, you're gonna pick this up very easily because it's the same concepts. There's a little bit of difference, but it's pretty much the same game. As far as reading through the rules, it's well laid out and it does take you through the game very clearly. I just wish they had put the shorthand on the sides when it's laid out looking like it's going to, but it doesn't. And then they have the optional goals, which is where this ship comes in. We didn't run into any questions or any issues with this game. I think it does a fine job. Nothing exciting. There's no cover. Nothing that exciting. It does list the contents not pictured again. I'll give it an 8. I think it does a decent job. It's just nothing wows me about it.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to gameplay. So this, like you mentioned, is very much like Puerto Rico. You have a series of actions that you can take. Now, the one big thing that is a little bit different, and we'll talk about it in detail in a minute, is the produce section. So, and they kind of fixed what was really wrong with Puerto Rico to begin with.
In my impression, yes.
So first you have the development. So development action is essentially you get to build a building. Now, if you actually take the action, you do get a bonus for taking that action, just like you do in Puerto Rico. And that is on the card. The other thing you can do is settle, which is about getting your astronaut or playing them on already explored planets, if you've already explored them. And then the third action is to explore. So that's literally you're taking a group of them out of the bag based on player count. The bonus is that if you take it, you get 2 of them, not just 1, but you only get to pick 1 the first time it goes around, and then you get to pick a second one. And then produce. So produce is the only one that builds up point when it's not taken. And money is hard to come by, guys.
Yeah.
So that's why it's very, very important. So that ends up going as well. Now, the production is only on tiles that are filled in. So if you can see here, there is a blue around it. So that means initially when it's flipped over, you'll get 1 blue icon, but you won't get to do anything additional unless it's filled in. All right. And then trade and consume. That is where if you have goods on your planets, you can actually trade them for victory points and for money. Based on that, it will also let you trigger your other consumed powers. So now this is very relevant because that's how you get a lot of victory points in the game beyond your buildings and your exploration. And that's really where the 3 points come at.
This is another difference from Puerto Rico because basically they've combined the captain with the market, the trade market. So those 2 are one now action, and you can do either or both in your turn.
Yeah. And then you have send diplomatic envoys, which basically allows you to gain a victory point and become first in the player count.
Which I think is also a big improvement over the original Puerto Rico, because you could, in a 5-player game, you could get really punished by being last in turn order. Yes, you cycle around, but early in the game, if you're last, it's really painful. Here you can determine your fate and change that. And I think that was necessary.
Yeah. And then retreat into isolation, which basically gives you 2 credits.
Well, that one is alternative. This is if you're playing without the in-game bonuses. The other side is you get a credit and you get to draw and choose the in-game bonus that's going to go into effect.
And you +1 in priority, so you go up the turn order track as well. So that one is a little bit more useful. So overall, talking about gameplay, it is very Puerto Rico-esque. It does fix some of the problems. However, I don't enjoy the theme as much as Puerto Rico. So there's definitely some things that they fixed. This is still a lot of fun. But I kind of like Puerto Rico better. Sorry, guys.
Well, I'm on the other side of this. You're the point. I'm the counterpoint. This, to me, is the best version of Puerto Rico. When I got this out, I never really wanted to play Puerto Rico again because it fixed all the things that I had problems with Puerto Rico. Not to mention it adds in another dimension when you're going and getting your what previously would have been your farmlands. Now you're getting planets instead, and those have special abilities and powers and scoring capabilities. So it adds more depth to the game than what Puerto Rico does.
I think for me, it's I enjoy the feel and the look of Puerto Rico better in the sense that, well, we have all those upgraded pieces for Puerto Rico.
You've upgraded the pieces. The base Puerto Rico looks very generic and it's very problematic theme-wise for a lot of people. So
I mean, so in that case, I understand. I just think, but the thing is when you go to back and like, okay, well, how do you upgrade this to make this more visually appealing? I can't come up with anything. And so I think then that's one of the reasons why I like Puerto Rico is because we were able to upgrade it and make it look really awesome. And I don't see this having that kind of opportunity, even though I do agree it's probably better in gameplay wise. I just don't care for the theme as much, and I don't think you can make it as pretty. With that being said, it's still a good, solid game. I'm probably gonna I'll give it an 8.5. I think it's a good game. I do think it fixes a lot of the problems with Puerto Rico. I just don't care for it as much because it's not as pretty.
And I'm the reverse. I vastly prefer this to Puerto Rico. There's an expansion coming out for this. It was announced, and that was the last I've heard of it. I'm super stoked for when it comes. I hope there's news soon of it coming. But last I checked, I've not seen a release date even announced, even for Essen for this. I would love to find out more about if any of you know anything about when the expansion for this game's coming out, post it below because I'd love to know. Or
Rio Grande Games, if you're watching, hey, give us a hookup, send us an email. We'll totally let people know.
To me, this game is. I'm probably going to give it a 9.5.
Oh, wow, you really like this
Puerto
game.
Rico is a great game. It's a classic. To me, this makes it better. And, it's very rare for a new version to come out and then it's better than the original. I think this one is. I know you don't. I know Robert doesn't. To me, this is the best version of Puerto Rico out there. And I'm super stoked for the expansion on it. And I'm giddy with anticipation.
Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We had an absolute blast today, and hopefully you'll come hang out with us again. We'll catch you guys later. Bye. Hello, everyone. Today Oh, that's part of the game. Okay. Hello.
I'm getting tired of waving.
All right.
This game brought to you by Insanity.
I don't understand how scrambled my brain is.